whichever is appropriate for the time zone that you're in. My name is Trevor Longino. I'm head of marketing and PR for GOG, and I am here to speak to you about The Witcher 2, obviously, on GOG. I would like to start with a brief introduction about what's going to be happening on our show this evening, and we're going to be starting by talking a little bit about the pre-order, because I know that many of you guys who are here already know about the pre-order, but since our link and password got kind of spread out around across the internet, I thought I'd take a moment to introduce people who may be new to the idea of The Witcher 2 on GOG and explain what we're actually offering and why our offering is so compelling. After that, we'll bring on Tomasz to come speak about some of the changes that have happened from The Witcher 1 to The Witcher 2. And then after we finish with that, we'll open up the floor for questions. We'll be taking your questions for about an hour, unless we're really rocking and rolling and we're going crazy, in which case I will be more than happy to provide you guys a little extra time to start answering questions for you as well. All right, let me talk to you about what we're doing with The Witcher 2 on GOG. I will start here by discussing the landing page and our website itself. If you go on GOG.com and you look at GOG.com/The Witcher 2, you will find that we have a compelling offer for you guys here, starting with a variety of... let me get this dialog box out of the way here. There we go. So you go from GOG.com, head over here to GOG.com/The Witcher 2, and you will see we have a special landing page. This particular price you may see here is talking about euros, because I'm here in Europe, but if you're looking at it from the US or from GBP, you're going to be seeing different pricing based off your region. Let me start by telling you the main four concepts behind GOG's offer of The Witcher 2. It's completely DRM free. We have no copy protection or anything like that on any of GOG's games, and that includes The Witcher 2 offer. We are offering a fair price package, a flat price everywhere in the world. We are giving customers in the European Union, they're receiving a credit back on the difference in their price between euros and dollars, but everybody else in the world is paying an equivalent price to the American price for the Witcher 2 pre-order. We're also giving you guys really awesome goodies packaged in with the Witcher 2 pre-order. When you pre-order the Witcher 2 on GOG, first thing you get right away is MP3 tracks exclusive from the full soundtrack of the game, some wallpapers, some avatars, a complete photo tour of CDP Red's back development area, and 5 different pieces of concept art all about how The Witcher 2, some of the environments, some of the monsters, really cool concept art. Also, when you pre-order The Witcher 2, when you actually purchase your download, you will receive one of 5 different games from GOG.com: Beyond Divinity, Divine Divinity, Gothic 2 Gold Edition, Realms of Arcania 1 and 2, or Realms of Arcania 3. You can take your pick which of those 5 games you get. You'll also receive an art book, which is actually the collector's edition art book in PDF format, exclusively when you pre-order from GOG. The guide and the manual, the official soundtrack. We have some really cool paper craft you can print out and make artwork with at home. Maps and letters, and also we're giving you bonus videos included in the download as well. So that's the offer we're giving you, and that's got the 3 main values of GOG, which are our DRM-free principles, the fact that we provide you excellent value for money, and the fact that we are giving you tons of free goodies included with the download. That's actually why we put this offer together, having The Witcher 2, which is obviously not an old game, on Good Old Games, because having the opportunity to make that great an offer for everybody who's a member of GOG was something we just couldn't pass up. Now, speaking of our sister company, CDP Red, making this great partnership with us, I'm going to introduce to you Tomasz, who is the senior producer of The Witcher 2, and he is here now sliding slowly into the frame. He's going to be speaking about the two of the main differences between The Witcher 1 and The Witcher 2 on and what they've done with the gameplay. He's going to start by taking you through some interesting things with how they changed Geralt from The Witcher 1 to The Witcher 2. And then we're going to be talking about... yes, and then we're talking about some gameplay. We're going to do a live gameplay video here where you can actually see not just a combat fight, but also watch Tomasz's hands and see what it is he's doing to make various things happen on the screen. So we're going to get ready and start here with Tomek. You have any introductory words you want to say? I'll go ahead and load up the slides.
Well, obviously, the two things that I'm going to share with you today is what about Geralt's face? Some people think it's changed, some believe it hasn't. I'm going to give you the background behind it, and the other thing is you will see the new combat in more action than just a live gameplay footage. You're also going to see my hands playing, and you're going to see that it's not console-ish, that it's not, I don't know, dumbed down or whatever. These are two purposes that I'm here to show you right now. Before I start speaking about the face of Geralt, I'm gonna give you the I want to thank my artists. I mean, not mine, but artists that work in CDP Red, especially Pavel and Bartek, who actually made a lot of effort to reach deep into our archives of our work and found few of the graphics that you're gonna see today. They are work in progress graphics, but you're gonna see what it looks, and I just want to thank them. Okay, regarding the face and regarding the so-called changed face of Geralt, this presentation, this short presentation, is to show you and to prove you that we did not mean, we did not intend, and it wasn't our goal to change face of Geralt. There were reasons why it was, let's say, re-implemented, but it wasn't the goal to make him a different guy, because he is the same guy. Seriously, he is. All right. If you look at Geralt from The Witcher 1, this is the first time actually you're going to see this model stripped of hair, of textures, or of anything. And if you have a chance to look at him like this, you will probably notice that it has flaws. Most of them are due to the technology constraints that we've had back then, like modeling the face and regarding the polygons and everything. Some of them are just ones we, didn't have time to fix. But I'm not going to show these to you. I mean, our artist would kill me if I did. But let's move on. And next thing is, this is the first cover render we've ever done for The Witcher 2. And it was a lot of work. I'm going to show you that, I mean, the main reason why the Geralt was implemented was not because of the before mentioned flaws. It was because with a new technology, and with the new engine that we have, it was possible to do way more detailed character, and it was a good idea, especially for our artists, to start something anew, and they did. And here you can see the render, and let me just show you few of the progression stage screenshots. These are the ones that I'm thankful to Bartek and Pavel actually. It's like a week by week or every 2 weeks screen cap of how they were actually working on sculpting the head. This is the beginning. He doesn't look like that one. If we move on, you're gonna see that it's slightly changed. A few things have been tweaked, but we still were not actually satisfied with. And moving on, and in the end you see this is the face that actually you can see on a cover render. And this is the cover render. And this is the moment after like 2 or 3 months of work where we had the first actually finished Geralt for The Witcher 2, or at least we thought it was a finished Geralt for The Witcher 2. And we even tested it in game. We even did some mimicry tests, some facial animation. So it's alive, it was working. It was a brief moment for which we actually thought it would be cool. But then came the feedback. People have seen these screenshots and they said, "What? He's younger, it's not the same guy, what have you done to his face, what about his hair?" I mean, hair is a different story, probably a part of a different presentation that I might do one day, but regarding the face, a lot of people just have seen things that we probably were working too long on this and we just didn't notice. Seriously, it happens if you're too deep into something. So, here began the work on the next model of Geralt. What you have seen previously, these screenshots were from like a year ago. And since then, until now, we have been working on the new face. You're going to see more stages right now. These are like every 2 weeks screenshot of how we've been working on the new face of Geralt, because we wanted to make him look more like Geralt from The Witcher 1, but still pertaining the level of detail and still having a lot actually cool features and so on. You're going to see that it's changed. It was about a period of a year throughout which he has changed like this. And you're going to see all these. And in the end, you will see a final look of Geralt in The Witcher 2. And this is the first time we are showing it. So this is how it's going to look in The Witcher 2. And this is going to be the final, recently finished cover of the game. And summing up, I just wanted to prove you that our goal was not to change his face, it was do a better model. If people complain, we have worked a year for you to make him fit the face from The Witcher 1. And this is the bottom line. Yeah.
All right, that's cool. And now we're actually going to go to our second camera, and also we're going to be doing a live streaming video bit of Tomasz actually playing.
Let me get mouse.
Yeah, get us set up here. Let me actually pull the camera down a little bit. All right, we'll get set up here in just a moment and have you on camera too. All righty, here we go.
Two biggest changes that we've done in the combat in The Witcher 2. We're making it more accessible. There is a way to easily fight through most of the combat situations, and I'm going to show it to you in a moment. But there is also a lot of depth and advanced tactical approaches that you can take towards combat, and I'm going to be showing you that one as well. For the first one, however, I'm going to choose a really not too subtle, not too advanced, but a quick and really painful for my opponents run through it with using one of my swords and only one magical sign. So even though there's going to be like 5 opponents, you're going to see that I won't have too much trouble playing with them. I'm going to be changing directions and I'm going to be hitting them with my sword. There you go. Let's put these guys on fire for a start, and then let's finish them. Yeah, for a start. 3 of them are down.
There should being on fire is kind of distracting.
Oh yeah.
Funny thing.
Oh yeah, he hit me first. Strong strikes are effective against more armored opponents. And also obviously throwing magical sign in between is a really good idea. Now changing the opponent. He's on fire, so it's not a big threat.
How do you change between fast strokes and strong strokes?
The left the left button of my mouse is a fast one, so it's really fast, but it deals less damage than the strong one that takes more time to actually.
And the strong's actually your right mouse button?
It is a right mouse button. Okay. The next combat situation requires some more preparation, so I'm gonna put exploding trap and a magical bomb that I can throw in my quick slot. I can switch quick slot by pressing 4. I'll start off with a bomb. The cool thing about a bomb is that not only has a really nice finishing cutscene, but you can also throw it really fast or aim it. If you hold the R button for a while, you'll see that you can actually choose the opponent that you hit with the bomb if you do it right. There's going to be monsters and soldiers, so I'm going to have to mix tactics. I cannot use both swords at the same time. I'm going to be using my magical shield sign, also doing some damaging stunning sign, and I'll also be throwing the bomb, as I already said. There we go. Let's start with doing some general damage by throwing in a magical bomb. I want to hit this guy and finish him really quick. Nice. So another one was stunned with a bomb, which is really more effective. There we go. I want to put a trap on the ground, get away really quick, and see if anybody gets caught with it. Come on, guys, I'm waiting for you. Haha. Okay, they're gonna get back here later on. Yeah, let me stun this guy and finish him. It's actually a finisher with a mixture of magical signs, and oh yeah, these monsters are gonna run into this. There you go. I mean, I hope they are. Yes. There you go. Really nice. And there's one guy left. Let's stun him, finish him. Oh yeah, strong is more effective against this guy. And monsters could not hit me because I have a magical shield that I put on me beforehand. As you can see, it wasn't difficult if you actually know what to do, because there are a lot of advanced tactics which I used in here. Mixing sword, mixing magic. There's a menu that allows you to choose your sign, and also throwing in some items that you can choose.
So if you're going to try this fight and not do the advanced tactics, but rather go with the more brutal butcher style, how would you have completed it?
There is an unsubtle way to do it. It's running around, luring your opponents like one by one to this like opening in here, and then dealing with them. Or like, you know, putting a magical shield if it's leveled up really high, and jumping in and butchering everyone around if you have enough health, or drank potions, or just doing it, you know, one by one. I mean,
gotcha.
there's a lot of ways you can do it.
So we can see here some of the differences between The Witcher 1 and The Witcher 2. You've got a more fluid, a more action-centered combat system, but I think it's definitely you made good changes to it. All right, I think that's all we have to show you guys as far as live gameplay is concerned. Now we're going to toss the ball over to you guys. Ask us your questions, and we shall provide you with answers, or we'll try at least. We have our newest member of the GOG team, Galimatias, is helping us pick questions from the chat here. He's going to be doing his best to keep up with your guys, so show him some mercy, if you would please. We'll be noting the Ustream name of any user whose question we read aloud, so keep your ears tuned. If you hear us read your question and then your username, send an email to users@gog.com with your Ustream name, the question you asked, and the game that you'd like to receive, and we will contact you next week with your game code. Not going to happen tonight because it's already coming up on 6:30 p.m. here Polish time, so all the guys who might be sending you game codes are already off for the weekend. Yeah, having, I guess, a belated celebration of St. Patrick's Day. Anyway, all right, guys, let's get started. All right, the question comes, how will people get the game with Polish voices and English text? What was the user's name again? I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Can you hit Control-Z? No? All right, well, that's going to be for you, I think, how we get the game with Polish voices and English text.
I don't know whether it's going to be possible with a premiere version of the game right at the start, right at the release, but we definitely are planning to release a patch to the game that actually will enable most of the languages everywhere with all versions of the game. This is what I can say.
All right, we are asked by Harshi, I'm probably mangling your username, what are your plans with the Witcher franchise? Where are we going from here?
We're really focused on doing one game at a time. We're doing The Witcher 2 on PC at the moment. Whenever we have more news, we will share it. But seriously, I'm not kidding you. We are kind of a studio that can focus on one project at a time. We don't have enough people, time, and money to actually work on The Witcher 2 on multiple platforms and on The Witcher 3, 4, 5, and gazillion. We have plans. We definitely are not done with The Witcher yet. This is I can say for now.
All right. We are asked by Swerk, I'm mispronouncing your name again, S-W-I-E-R-Q. Shirk. Okay, there you go. We are asked, will the Xbox Pad be supported? And that kind of ties over to how console-ish will the game combat be.
I mean, it's actually up to you to judge how console-ish it is, because I don't think it is. You've seen my fingers that I was playing with this. So the pad, it won't be supported. It's supported already. It's working already, and I could play the game with a gamepad if I wanted to already. Actually, a lot of presentation, I was using a gamepad when there was more walking, for example, less combat, because it's easier to navigate with analog sticks to show, navigate the camera. It was easier for me, but for the combat, I just prefer using the keyboard. So yeah, it's definitely going to work with the final game.
All right, and from Fuzzy Fireball, any expansion packs, or I'm guessing DLC planned in the near future?
We'd love to. No details so far, guys, but I can promise that when it's going to happen, if it's going to happen, it's definitely not going to be the horse armor, right?
Yeah, horse.
No, it's definitely going to be something more of an adventure, yeah.
Something fairly substantial. Well, that's cool. All right. We have...
Sir Yogi?
From Sir Yogi, will Geralt be able to
swim?
Geralt be able to swim?
I mean, yes, he is, but in this game, he just doesn't like to do it. No, we did not implement swimming in The Witcher 2. No.
Well, that's fair enough. All right. Quick time events. Will quick time events only be in boss fights?
No. The quick time events are not any relevant or significant part of regular combat. Even if you are fighting with your bare fists in a regular combat, because that's possible, it does not include QDA. QDA is only in some of the alternative ways to walk through the big opponent fights, and also in some of the minigames. That's pretty much it. It's like, a cherry on pie.
All right, Dan Hagen asks us, what do we think about the engine? How powerful and how interesting is the engine that has been written for The Witcher 2 that you guys have developed in CDPUN?
Well, I'd say it's the best RPG engine out there. I mean, there are not too many RPGs. All the developers have their own. I mean, most of them. But we've been developing this one from the scratch. It's probably one of the newest RPG engines out there, or the newest RPG engine out there. I think you've already seen that it looks good, and it definitely can do things regarding nonlinearity directing dialogues and everything like this that not too many RPGs can do. So what I think about the engine,
Although I think we can agree, while you might be a little bit biased, I also have seen the engine, not just in this gameplay video, but other times. And speaking as a gamer who's been playing games since I was 8, which is longer ago than I want to admit, yeah, definitely, awesome engine. I'm really excited about The Witcher 2.
it's got
And
dozens
not
of
speaking
tools,
as a partisan.
dozens of tools, a lot of stuff.
So from Bloodred 217, he's asking, I know you can't directly control the companions, do they have simple commands? And I guess that brings also around to companion control in general.
Yeah. We are not implementing a separate companion mechanism, like a strategic part of the game where you actually have to develop your abilities, or part of a game where you direct your companions. It's more story driven. Anytime that you actually get somebody to help you, it's because you've chosen some part of the story. Yeah?
Okay, cool. From 4K387, what are your reasons for releasing The Witcher 2 DRM free, even if it's just through the one channel on GOG?
Because we definitely always wanted to do it. It was our dream from day one to release our games without DRM. Thank you, GOG.
Sure. Hey, yeah, we're glad to help. I can't take much credit for that. I'm just the marketing guy. But that also does bring us to the question of why GOG and DRM free for The Witcher 2 is why is it just on GOG?
Why is it just on GOG? Well, GOG is a sister company. We live under one roof. It's the only place on earth when we can have full control over what happens from now to day one, to the release day. So we can fully. It's not only about trust. It's not a matter of trust because we don't have problems with that. But it's actually like full control and being able to do everything we can with the build, and it's just secure in house. And this is pretty much the only place where we're totally safe with releasing DRM free.
Sure. Well, we get a question from the French monk. Will The Witcher 1 be available on GOG.com? That's a really good question. We're working diligently. I know that the head boss at GOG, Guillaume Ramborg, he is, I think he may have something on his table with regards to that. But
when he gets back from his vacation,
when he gets back from his vacation, yes. So I can't, we can't make any promises. Certainly, we're working hard towards it, and we would definitely love to see The Witcher 1 on GOG at some point. So stay tuned. We'll cross our fingers and hope, and you'll hear more from us as soon as we know anything. From Ryutse, are you going to release some extensive modification mod tools?
Yeah, we'd love to. It's the same as console question. It's the same as, I don't know, whether going to be next Witcher. We will do everything we can. It's doable. Our toolset is really user-friendly. It's not user-hostile. We will do everything we can to release a toolset. We definitely need a proof of concept, actually, to make one game on it so that anybody who wants either to use it as a modder, as a community, or just buy it as a franchise or anything, they need to actually see that it works. So one game, I don't know if it's going to be enough for everyone, but it's at least enough for us.
Certainly, that also comes back to some people are saying this game seems very kind of console-ized, and I think you got a lot of very powerful RPG mechanics in there, and as you just showed in the gameplay video,
there was a combat log in the corner that actually, it's going to be optional in the final game, but if you look at it, it shows you that all these RPG mechanics are there in the combat. I mean, I know I said it, but
yeah. So we also are asked how many endings will there be? I think you've mentioned that a few times. How many endings are there?
Yeah. There are a lot of factors that differentiate how the storyline branches, and at the end, you've got 16 different states with which the game ends. So these are 16 different endings of the game.
Yes, that was, by the way, Surtur01's question we were answering there. And so how different are these endings going to be?
Some of the factors are really huge, like one country exists or not. Some other mean that somebody is dead or alive, someone's your friend or not. So it's actually up to you to decide how big these are, because for some people, some factors might be bigger or smaller. But I can't say whether, 10 of these are really, really huge and other 6 are smaller, or it's like all of them are really huge. For me, they are all really different, because I believe most people actually want to replay the game a lot of times to at least see most of these. 10 endings. It's going to be worth it.
All right. Will we be licensing the engine to other games besides just The Witcher 2?
I think I addressed that already. It's pretty much the same case as with modders, with community. We would like to do this, but actually selling something and reaching for somebody's pocket, it's not going to be $5 engine. It's probably going to be more if we decide to sell it. We definitely need some time to polish it for the sake, not just for releasing our game.
All right. We're asked, how will GOG survive the traffic?
We're doing fine, aren't we?
We're doing fine. The Witcher 2 is the content. Certainly, there's a lot of content there. It's going to be how many gigabytes roughly?
It's going to be 2 double-layered DVDs.
All right, so a lot of gigabytes anyway. And GOG has a content delivery network with servers all across the world. So even if one server starts to really struggle under the load, you can always be shuffled to a different server to get your content from. Now, admittedly, your bandwidth might be a little bit reduced because you're trying to download from somewhere further away from you than the most optimal server. But our tech guys have been working really hard to do our best to make sure that we'll be stable for the GOG launch, and that we'll be able to make sure that The Witcher 2 is available to everybody without any problems of GOG, erupting into a ball of flames while our servers melt into a slag heap. That's not something we need to worry too much about, I don't think.
Has the alchemy system been expanded upon from The Witcher 1? We have improved it. I mean, it's not revolution size of what we've done with the combat, but there are changes. You can meditate anywhere. You don't need to seek for fireplaces right now. Brewing potions is easier, and you cannot spam potions during the combat. It's primarily for preparing beforehand. So I wouldn't say this is a revolution, more of an evolution, but it's revamped.
All right, from user Morgar, how are you going to be able to import the save game from The Witcher 1 since there's no ending save game after finishing the playthrough?
It's going to be the last one that you have. It still determines which ending you get. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We also see some people are asking, over-the-shoulder and isometric view required a very different experience in The Witcher. This from DB Smith. Will isometric view return in The Witcher 2, or will we only have over-the-shoulder?
Oh yeah, we got... Well, you do not manually switch types of the camera, it's true. So in exploration, for most of the time, you will have the over-the-shoulder camera, this one. But in combat, for example, or in other different situations, camera adjusts manually and it shows more. Case of combat is interesting because it actually is a further away camera. So yeah.
Sure. From Soul Seeker 1. Why did we decide to change the combat system? Certainly, some people liked it. Why did we decide to implement that the new and improved combat system?
I would say, especially to Soul Seeker 1, that he probably will not actually consider it a huge change, because for all these guys that liked the complexity and depth of the combat in Witcher 1, there is at least as much of it in Witcher 2. You will have more skills. You will have you can unblock really insane skills like throwing daggers, like a riposte, something that actually really changes the gameplay. The main purpose of changing the combat was to make it more accessible towards the people who might have thought, because there were people like that, who might have thought that the Witcher 1 combat had quite high entering threshold.
All right. Conquerors asked you, what's the most funny moment you've had while working on The Witcher 2?
Oh, Jesus.
That's a hard question.
It's been 3.5 years. Come on. I remember one recent situation. I was speaking to one of the journalists, and one guy asked me. He was from the media that was mainly interested in Japanese culture and Japanese games and movies and so on and so on and so on. And the first question in the interview that he wanted to do with me was, so, how do you feel as a Western European developer? And I said, we're like kind of a Middle Eastern European developer. Oh, I'm going to have to omit that question.
Fair enough.
Yeah, just something I remember now.
User Mr. Serban asks, will The Witcher be released on time?
Yeah, sure. Why not? What? Yeah.
I don't think we're running late. Yeah, I think
we're not slipping. We do not have any delays so far. Milestones are good.
Milestones are good. There you go. And you guys, they've certainly been working hard. We share a building with the CDP Red guys. I know they've been working some serious hours, but I think you guys are doing fine.
All right. So we got a question about distractible environments, and yes, we do have distractables. We have a lot of them. Actually, Gamescom, recent Gamescom presentation that we've done in August was the one that we were showing the battlefield, and you could see a lot of that in there. In the recent part of the presentation, like a succubus side quest, some of the people have seen it already. You can destroy walls of bricks and a lot of stuff that unveil secret passages. Yes, we do have destructibles. What will the NPC react to that? Yeah, depending on how it works, some of the NPCs might get actually hurt if they get hit by parts of the destroyed environment. In the other cases, if it unblocks some passage, they will actually go through it.
All right. We'll see here. Looking here. Will Geralt have talking about Geralt's companions again? People are asking, what will his companions be and how will they interact with the game?
Well, I couldn't say it without spoiling the game.
Giving away too much?
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Seriously, because depending on the storyline paths that you choose, some of them are okay. I'll say it generally. Some of them are more emotional. Some of them are more political, influential, and power focused. And depending on that, you get along the game. You go through the game with different company and different alliances.
All right, user GOG Roman 5, I do believe I recognize that name from our forums, has asked us, Andrzej Sapkowski worked with us on The Witcher 1, or worked with you on The Witcher 1.
Yeah.
And has he been involved in The Witcher 2, and how have you guys worked with him?
The kind of work Andrzej Sapkowski did for us with The Witcher 1, and we're thankful for it, obviously, was at the end of the production we consulted with him because it was the first time anybody ever have created like a bestiary, have created a map of the world and a lot of places and characters that needed right associations and right naming and wording and so on. And it was necessary. With The Witcher 2, there was not too much that we did with Andrzej Sapkowski. We did not work with him.
All right, someone asked us, wait, I think I have a note here.
Papercraft Necker.
A note's been delivered to me by a Papercraft Necker. Mm-hmm. The note appears to say, oh, well, that's appropriate. What's the coolest monster you can talk about?
The coolest monster I can talk about, depending on actually what you want from monsters. Well, it's an adult game. Monsters are not really fun in this game. So the most cool thing for me is actually that some monsters end up not being monsters, and it's like what I personally perceive as cool. If you speak to some monsters, it actually starts with showing up that you can speak to them, and later on you actually find out that there are quests that appear to be about killing the monster in the beginning, and in the end it turns out that it's probably not the best solution to kill the monsters. And I would say this is the most fun thing about monsters in The Witcher 2.
Okay. User Emil W asks, do we have any ideas about the system requirements for game? What can we tell them about that?
We do have a minimal ones, and we soon enough will be releasing the recommended ones. You don't have to expect the Cosmic Machine. Don't worry about that. But we do have a minimal ones. It's a dual core processor, 2 gigahertz. It's 2 gigabyte of RAM, and it's GeForce 8800 with half a gig on board or an equivalent. That's the minimal one. We revealed them some time ago. Don't worry, we will be revealing a recommended one soon enough. You're not gonna be doing this.
Okay. User Gorilak asks us, is CD Projekt Red intending to work with Andrzej Sapkowski on a MMO in the near future?
Not that I know of.
Well, since you're a senior developer for CD Projekt Red, I'm guessing you'd probably
I would know, yeah.
You probably would know. So okay. Whoa, the chat client just totally blew up.
Should we dance or whatever? No.
Let me see if I can get this to... Okay, here we go. Will there... Adam001 asks us, will there be other professions besides alchemy?
Well, depends on how you define professions. There are 3 main paths of character development, which actually is a part of Geralt's profession. So one of them is alchemy, the other one is magic, and the other one is sword. And it actually is a different kind of character development. Going through one tree and focusing on it, so in a way, becoming a professional in this actually unlocks a really cool, unique skill at the end of the tree.
That's cool. It also kind of leads you on to a question. I know there were mini games in, not mini games, I guess kind of mini games. Like you had the fisticuffs and you had gambling mini games. We're offering similar ones, more improved. What are we doing with that in The Witcher 2?
We have 3 mini games in The Witcher 2. 2 of them you already know. I mean, they've been revised, they've been improved, but this is fist fighting, It's got a QDA element that's new. And there's also poker dice. It's physics-based. You can manually throw dice in a Witcher 2. You couldn't do that in a Witcher 1. And there's a new one, arm wrestling, which is extremely cool, yeah.
Which is extremely cool, if you do say so yourself. That's cool. All right.
Will Geralt and Triss have the same voice actors? I'm pretty sure about Geralt. I would have to check Triss. It might be not the same woman.
All right. Let's see here. Whoa, chat is going completely crazy here. Let me try.
Maybe we overloaded the channel.
I think we're overloading Ustream.
We cannot load into our own channel.
Yes, here we go. I think it's putting up there. Okay, here we go. What games do we play? What games do you play? I think you probably play a lot of The Witcher 2 right now, but
right now, yes. Right now, I do not have too much time to play any new games. I'm still craving to play Dragon Age 2. I mean, I'm ashamed to admit that I didn't have time to play it. But the most recent long experience that I've had was with Demon's Souls. I finished it twice. It was Game of the Year, the last year for me, personally.
And what I'm playing through right now, let me see. I'm working my way through Fallout 3 for the third or fourth time. I really enjoy that game. And I'm also playing, when I have time, I'm making my way through Jagged Alliance 2. Actually, from GOG, I get the employee discount off of that game, so I really can't complain too much of that. Yeah, I play, I guess, a mixture of both the newer games and the older ones.
Yeah. Will we see other Witchers? Huh, will we? Please, seriously, don't make me spoil the fun for you. Come on, guys. You're old enough to know that you don't want. Will there be a demo? We are not planning to release a demo, at least before the release of the game.
All right, a user asks, will The Witcher 1 be on GOG? We already asked that, right? Sorry, never mind. I'm already clearly forgetting what questions were asked. Also, he asked, will we be offering new games on GOG? And we kind of answered that question back in November when we discussed the launch of The Witcher 2 on GOG. And we said, GOG is about three things mainly. We're about providing excellent value for our users with a flat price everywhere in the world. We're about giving huge, incredible extra content with all of our titles. So it's practically like it is a collector's edition for every version of the game. And we also make sure that all of our games are completely DRM free. Not many publishers are willing to just go ahead and do that kind of exclusive package for GOG. CD Projekt, being a sister company, was. But if anybody is interested in making a really incredible offer for us and coming to us with that sort of deal, hey, we're willing to talk. You can hit us up. I'm sure you can find Guillaume's information somewhere on the internet and start talking to him. We'll be more than happy to talk with you about it.
Can you get this for me? Sorry.
Oh, whoa, hey, look, here comes our papercraft Necker again. And we
There's
have
another question. What is this one?
This question appears to be, how about loading times?
Loading times. Have you noticed any in the gameplay that we've done? There is a streaming icon in the corner. It's there because the game actually does stream. If you see like one split 1/10 of a second performance crank, it's just because the distant area has been loaded right now, but we do not have any loading times in Witcher 2. I mean, if you switch in between chapters, that's possible, but that's a different story. Music from Adam Skorupa, obviously, yeah. Most of the music in The Witcher 2 has been done from Adam Skorupa, but he's not the only composer. We got, that's going to be a tough one, Krzysztof, Jesus. Wierzynkiewicz, I'm sorry. I was close to forgetting, but I didn't. Krzysztof Wierzynkiewicz, he's the other composer that did the music for The Witcher 2. Hi, Krzysztof.
All right. Cool.
Mr. Baginski involved in the cutscenes. Nope, Mr. Baginski is working. I'm pretty sure he's got a lot of work right now, but with the new engines, we're doing all the cutscenes in the engine, and we've got our own cutscene or cinematic department in CD Projekt Red, and these guys are taking care of it. We do not actually need CGI with this engine. Not for now, at least. Yeah, do we have anything more? Necker.
Necker, any more questions for us, Necker? All right. Let me see. People ask us what version of the game will be on GOG. What kind of, because obviously some different countries might have different versions of the game, like based off of Germany or America. There are different things that aren't. Yeah. So what version will we have on GOG? Well, GOG is offering eFigs games. So we're doing English, French, Italian, Spanish, and German. And you can, depending on what language pack you want, you'll be able to download them, I believe, as extra content from GOG. And I also think as far as making a rating of the game, like creating what rating are you going for?
It's mature. It's mature.
Okay, so
it's mature ESRB. Is PEGI mature as well, or 17 or 18?
I think it's PEGI 18 plus. Is what
it's 18. So it's 18. It's PEGI 18. You're right.
So we're gonna be providing the same basic game to everyone in the world on GOG. We don't have to worry about trying to provide a different experience for different countries, as far as I know. User asks about Rise
of the White Wolf. I remember that one. Sweet memories. Yeah. The thing is, this project is not under development right now, but we're not hiding that it's deep in our hearts. Maybe one day will come when we will have chance, time, money, and people to actually get back to it. It's not that moment, unfortunately.
And that does, I guess, kind of tie into people who are also wondering, will The Witcher 2 be on consoles?
Will The Witcher 2 be on consoles? I really hope it will. We do want to do it. I mentioned that at the very beginning, we're not ready to develop many projects at the same time. It's not in development right now. We probably will take our schedules, our priority lists and everything and sit down after we release the PC version, and hopefully then we will have something to tell you when we plan things out.
All right, and I guess also someone's asking, will there be a Mac version of the game that kind of goes in the same area?
Not that I know.
Okay, not that you know. Fair enough. All right. Will there be support for, I guess, like 3D stereoscopic viewing?
Well, it's actually our communication, how should I call it? Fail. Because The Witcher 2 has already been presented in 3D at PAX East last week, from what I recall, and it's a native 3D. It's working, and it's working with the 3D stuff. So yeah, it's going to be definitely available on day one.
Cool. People mentioned that The Witcher 1 had kind of a slow start to get off with.
Yeah.
Is The Witcher 2 starting off with a little more action?
I don't want to spoil it.
You don't want to spoil it all.
People that were concerned about it are going to be extremely happy.
All right, that's a very generic, but yet I hope fulfilling answer without spoiling anything. Will there be a night cycle, a day-night cycle in the game?
Oh yeah, definitely. Not only it's like automatic, it just happens, time passes by, but you can also meditate anywhere and shift time however you want, if you want to do it. I mean, not in combat, not in dangerous places, but regularly in exploration mode, you can shift time and you can actually wait any time that you want.
All right.
The gameplay length, yeah, we have seen how many hours there will be in a game. It really might be different depending on how you play through the game and how you walk through the storyline. But it's gonna be, well, if you want a rough, like a statistic estimation, I would say around 40 hours.
40 hours for length of the game? All right.
Only the main path.
Yes, in the main path. Someone also asks, GOG, people, we've been saying that GOG, when you pre-order on GOG, you're getting a little more money back and a little more support back to CDP Red. How does that work? Well, as far as the money, and I guess you could talk about that, but also I was going to say that GOG is the only DRM-free digital outlet for The Witcher 2. And aside from how the royalty payments get set up in different publishers and all of that sort of thing, which is not something you can reveal anyway, the CD Projekt is very firmly convinced that the best way to fight piracy is not DRM. Because obviously any game, when you release it, think of any AAA title that came out in the last 3 years, they were available on the very first day, free of DRM, on torrents. It's not like adding DRM is going to improve that situation. So really DRM only impacts the users who've legally purchased the game. By purchasing the game through GOG, you're helping show people that DRM is not necessary to make a AAA title successful in the very beginning of its launch. And while, of course, I'm sure CDP is doing everything they can to make sure that the DRM, or wherever else they may have it, is as light and non-intrusive as possible, I think you want to send the right message to developers and kind of maybe help set a chart for the future of how other game developers may attempt to approach their digital offers and say, hey, maybe we don't have to go with DRM because look, it worked out well for CD Projekt and GOG.
Yeah.
Someone, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, that's all right.
All right, another user asked, did you fix the stealing system in The Witcher 2 so Geralt can loot homes?
Yeah. addressing the question like this means that actually was something wrong. We do not really believe in it. I mean, I know a lot of people would like the game to be more realistic than the real life, or not, but the truth is it's a game. I mean, normally in a real life you could not steal from people, but otherwise in a game you could not get objects. So some NPCs will react to what you do, but it was also the case in The Witcher 1, just not all. I don't think that would be, I think that would be more realistic than fun.
Sure, and I think virtually any RPG I can think of that's a classic has inevitably the crate or the vase or whatever it is that you destroy wherever you go,
Yeah.
and you always find stuff in it. So realism about where you find items isn't necessarily, I think, a key concern for any gamer. There's conventions out there. You know, if you find a box and you can break it, you should, because there'll be stuff in some of them. And you know, if you go into an NPC's house and they're not looking, yeah, go ahead, rob them blind. That's what heroes do, apparently, at least in RPGs.
Are we not afraid that the DRM-free version on GOG will mean piracy on day one? Well, you can answer on your side, but I think the DRM-free version on GOG and the piracy on day one does not have too much in common.
I don't think there's necessarily a huge overlap. We obviously, when you download the game from GOG, yes, there will be no copy protection, any sort of DRM on it, but wherever the game is released, regardless of whether it's DRM free or not, that's a problem for getting on torrents immediately without copy protection.
Yeah.
So I don't think that having it DRM free on GOG means there'll be piracy. I think the fact that there are pirates out there means there'll be piracy.
Exactly, and there are pirates and there's a game. This fits, not DRM free on GOG and players. No,
Exactly.
This is actually a good match.
Some
Are the finishing move cutscenes a bit disorientating during the combat? Guys, this is a pre-beta version of the game. I know you have seen the flows. I see like thousands of them. Yes, this is not, everything's not tweaked and balanced. They're gonna look awesome, trust me.
will there be a day one patch, one of our users asks?
Tough one to say right now. Obviously, we would love to do a perfect game before it's manufactured, but even if there's some nice ideas that we didn't have time to implement and there are going to be not necessarily fixes, it still might mean that it's going to be cool to release a patch, day one patch. Can we got
The Witcher 2 hoodie, the really cool hoodie you're in. Where can anybody else get that?
Well, actually, he bought it for my own money because I thought it's cool. I considered this one my working uniform, so sorry.
Yeah, that is what he was wearing when he came in today. And also, you might notice I'm wearing the GOG shirt here. I like it cheap and unprotected, which, maybe not be a message you want your mother to see. But it does talk about how GOG offers great price games and offers them without any DRM. So don't take that to mean anything other than that. And if you are thinking something else, you have a very dirty mind and you should be ashamed of yourself.
All right.
Someone asks, what happens if you already have all 5 of the free RPGs that's available when you pre-order The Witcher 2 on GOG? And first, I would say thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Anybody who's purchased that much of GOG's catalog, the problem you're running into is I can't get something free when I pre-order The Witcher 2 from GOG. We will certainly work out something with you. Right now, what we're talking about is emailing the people who have already all of the games that we're giving away for free and offering them a game code for a game of their choice, but we may have to see whether or not we can do that legally or not. We'll be doing our best there. 1,000 people, thanks. So yes, we apparently just hit 1,000 people on the chat channel, which is completely blowing up here.
Yeah, this is why we cannot log into the chat right now.
Yeah, actually, I keep getting booted out whenever I try to log into it. So we're trusting that Galimatius over there is doing a good job keeping track of all this.
Can you join factions? Jesus, people, you are impossible. Yes, you can.
Oh, apparently I didn't hear anything. He was sitting over on the ear that doesn't hear. I didn't hear anything at all.
I was speaking to him.
He was speaking to the Necker, yes, and the Necker, of course, being from GOG, already knows everything. See, someone said The Witcher 2 will be DRM free at Name Your Online Store because I read it there. I know that there has been some confusion over that.
Yeah, that's true.
I know that at this moment, The Witcher 2 is only available in digital retail version through GOG. Any other store, I know out there that's offering a digital download is offering some type of copy protection on the download.
Will the animal NPC have some kind of AI? There will be small animal NPCs like the one we've had in Witcher 1. They're more of a toys. I mean, you do not make them do quests. It's not a game about small animals, but you will see, I don't know, chicken or whatever. Rats, definitely. Yeah.
Now the question is, how much artificial intelligence does the chicken really need to have?
Google.
I mean, as long as they aren't, I don't know, attempting to kill you in a moment of insane aggression because you were the Witcher, I think you're probably managing to control their AI properly.
I think it's not 160, actually, the IQ.
I'm pretty sure it's not the case either. Someone asks, will we allow pre-downloads of the game's content on GOG? That's a really good question, and not one I can actually really answer you for sure, because we are working our very best to make sure that we are going to have a stable experience for anybody who's purchased The Witcher 2 when they want to download it. As for how we're best going to accomplish that, we are still working on the best solution to provide everybody who purchases The Witcher 2 on GOG with a completely seamless experience of downloading, where they won't have the site blowing up and they won't have to worry about anything terrible happening to them if they try and download the game.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us that the axes and daggers sucked in The Witcher 1.
I really like the axe, actually.
Well, all I can promise is they're not gonna suck in The Witcher 2. Daggers are one of the skills that you can develop. They're really cool. You have seen throwing a bomb. It was an item. Daggers are more of a skill, but they work really nice. You can fight with axes, with hammers. You can fight with a lot of really different stuff. Actually, if you explore enough, you will even find a paddle you can fight with.
That sounds a little bit ominous. I do know that I've seen a couple of the, I guess, finishing moves where the Witcher, even if he's using one weapon, might whip out another one to finish somebody off, I think.
This is not really a typical situation for regular combat in The Witcher 2. That's why we've decided to do it as a reward in a finishing cutscene.
Okay, cool. Can you tell about the dialogue system? People are wondering how how you conduct conversations.
There are a few really noticeable changes in the dialogues in The Witcher 2. You will definitely see that there are interactions in between characters while the dialogue is taking place. There is no limit towards number of participants, for example. You can join in or join out, I mean not Geralt, but other NPCs can join in and join out during the dialogue. And it's more lively. People move more. It's more like you're directing a movie than a dialogue, if our designers do it.
So you're saying when Geralt is talking to somebody, if he has a companion with him, they might be able to jump in on the conversation?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen that.
There were presentations when we were showing this. There was one presentation in the Flotsam, Chapter 1, and guys were talking, and one of the guards just joined in saying, "Hey guys, are you okay? Okay, can I help you with?" And "No, thank you, sir." Okay. And when is the next Div Diary? It's in the making. It's in the making. Can I spoil what it's going to be about?
I don't know. Can you?
No, I don't know.
I'm not the one in charge. I think you should spoil what it's going to be.
All right, it's going to be gameplay.
There you go, gameplay. More gameplay. That's always good. I do also know that you guys are in super heavy-duty crunch time right now. So that might be part of why there's a little bit of a delay in the dev diaries, is people are busy working as opposed to making dev diaries. So it looks like we have about 3 or 5 minutes left until 7 p.m. We would probably cut things off then, because we've had a lot of good questions. We've had a lot of good answers, I think.
Yeah.
But let me see if we have any other questions coming from the Necker. Somebody asks, it's kind of a strange question. Somebody asks, will GOG sell the collector's edition of The Witcher 2?
You cannot digitize the head.
If I could send it to you across the internet, we might try it. But GOG sells digital stuff.
It's like ordering a pizza over the internet.
Yes, unless you have a 3D ceramic printer in your house, which not many people do, I'm not sure it'd be very practical. So I think we're going to have to stick with the digital distribution option. And to the best of my knowledge, we're not going to be offering the ability to ship the head and the coins and the cards and everything else to you. Because that's not what GOG does. We're all about the digital games, and we provide those to people. All right, let me see, any other questions here? We're looking at. We're about finished to wrap up here. We have, can you name any characters besides Geralt you control in the game, or is that something that's verboten? You can't talk about that.
A lot of people have already seen, it's a spoiler for me, but we definitely have to do some spoilers to actually make people happy, people that are waiting for the game. You can control Dandelion. Some people have already seen it, some of the media have already played it. We already had a hands-on worldwide tour with the game, and that's probably not everything. I don't want to go any further.
Don't want to go into further details, obviously, because the story is going to involve a lot of that. And if you gave away some great NPC name who no one knows is going to be in there yet, that might ruin things for people. Sure.
Right.
Well, all right, here we are. It is now 6:59 p.m.
Yeah.
We're about ready to sign off here. I want to thank every single one of you who showed up. I think you made this a great success. We had over 1,000 people on the channel at once, which is probably why the chat for us at least got so completely out of control. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay video. I hope you guys do remember... take the time to go to www.gog.com/TW2 if you have not already pre-ordered the game. This is your option to get the best pre-order offer on the net for the digital distribution copy from GOG. And also, while you're there, if you want to explore around, if you don't know what we're about, we have more than 300 incredible classic titles ranging from all the way back in time with Zork in 1984, I think, when the first Zork came out, up to, I think our most recent game we have is something like King's Bounty, which was, I think, 2007, 2008, somewhere around there.
But that's going to change on May 17th.
That's going to change on May 17th, because our most recent game will then be The Witcher 2 on GOG, which will definitely be awesome. I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to the game. I'm confident you guys are making a phenomenal option. And if you want to learn more about what we're going to be doing with The Witcher 2 and with GOG, there's going to be a internet streaming conference from CDP.
It's going to be a spring conference. We're doing 2 conferences a year, one in fall, one in spring. And we're still to announce the date, the precise date, but it's going to be in April. You definitely want to look out for this.
Yeah, early in April, we'll have information on GOG. And on our site, we'll have
TheWitcher.com everywhere.
Yeah, on TheWitcher.com, of course. Yeah, and we'll
look
have,
for it in your fridge.
Look in your fridge. I don't know. Apparently, he's going to sneak into your fridge. Better watch out. With a hoodie like that, he can probably sneak up on you. And we'll definitely have more information for you about not just whatever CDP Red's doing, but also about what GOG has to offer in the upcoming all through summer, probably. Mm-hmm. Thank you all very much for showing up, and I think that concludes our show. Thank you very much. We'll do a virtual handshake here, both of us. Awesome. That's the hand of Galimas there. All right. Thank you guys very much, and good evening to you all. We're going to put this show on recording loop now. So if you missed the very beginning of it, you're going to have the opportunity to watch the beginning where Tomasz talks about some of the changes in the models had over time, and also shows some gameplay videos. So if you haven't had the chance,
I want to watch it again. I'm curious how it looked.
Yeah, we should see how it looks. We'll go ahead and put it on loop so that you can see the video we've made. Obviously, we won't be able to answer question lives on the recorded video. We do appreciate all your interaction. Thank you guys very much. Y'all
Till May 17th.
See you May 17th.